welcome to Prime Property, your weekly real estate reckoner. I'm Nayanthara Rai and this is what we have on the show today. We bring you hits and misses of the Cong-NCP government in the run-up to the October 15th Maharashtra elections. Did the state government do enough for real estate and infrastructure? A Times Square in India. That's right, the government wants to replicate Big Apple's most iconic landmark in Mumbai. Is it even possible to mirror the magic of Times Square? A massive leg up for all buyers fighting builders over unfulfilled promises. The Supreme Court instructs Ambience to refund 70% of the maintenance charges it collected since 2002 for a Gurgaon project. Less than a month left for the Maharashtra state elections and political parties are leaving no stone unturned to make their presence felt. And with the recent flurry of activities in the infrastructure and housing space, there's definitely a lot to cash in on. But has enough been done, or is it a case of being too little and too late? Manasi Gilani takes you through the hits and misses of the Congress-NCP government.
Ahead of Maharashtra Assembly elections, the political theatre is unfolding. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP star campaigner took a dig at Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan at the Pune-Solapur National Highway inaugural function, responding to Chavan's claim that the Maharashtra was the #1 state in manufacturing and special economic zones and that it attracted the maximum number of investors. But while the political parties get head-on and continue with their war of words, the real estate and infrastructure bigwigs are hoping that the tide turns to their favour. The recent slew of infrastructure projects have made it seem like a Congress-NCP alliance has got its act together. But there are many misses as the hits.
Many key projects are yet to see light of the day. But of all the other cities, Mumbai has definitely gotten lucky in the last few months. After missing 6 deadlines since the project announcement in 2006, Mumbai did get its first metro line in June this year. A huge bonus for travellers commuting between Versova and Ghatkopar. The cost, however, almost doubled owing to the delays. 3 years late, but the first phase of monorail was the other project that was finally inaugurated this February. The project is a relief for almost 2,300 commuters that travel every 15 minutes using this transport between Wadala and Chembur. 7 years after the foundation was laid, came in the Eastern Freeway, connecting South Mumbai with eastern suburbs and is now fully operational. This elevated road is signal-free and helps you cover extreme distances in 40 minutes as against the earlier 2 hours. They say, better late than never. But delays also bring with it huge costs for these projects, and the cost overruns for these ones was sky high.
Inflation is about 8 to 10% compounded every year. So I think if 5 years is delayed, then if you take 8%, then the cost overrun is already 40%. And if it takes another year to really take off, it's really 50%. So I think there'll be a cost overrun of all these projects of almost 50% for delay of 5 years.
But it's not just delays. Several projects have not taken off at all, despite being on the drawing board for years. And the classic example being the Navi Mumbai International Airport, which was proposed back in 1997. It received its approval 10 years later in 2007. But yet, no financiers are in place. And this has led to a huge cost overrun of almost double, which stands at about 14,000 crores today, since its 2010 estimations. And this even before the project has kick-started. Latest promised deadline for this phase is December 2018. But with no signs of bidders and financiers, analysts say that this seems unlikely. The Trans-Harbour Link that would connect Shivri to Navi Mumbai is another such project in the doldrums. The estimated cost to construct this 6-lane link is 11,000 crore, and it's officially estimated to be completed in 2019. Although, as of today, no construction activity is visible, and the industry officials say that this is because funding has been a huge concern. However, MMRD is understood to be in talks with Japanese Bank for International Cooperation of JICA. It to invest about 10,000 crore for Trans-Harbour Link Road. JICA is in the process of evaluating the proposal. But nothing comes really easy, and nor was it for the Maharashtra Chief Minister.
I'm not getting enough competition in BOT projects. Just one or two people come in. The true market discovery doesn't happen. So how do you make sure that maybe chopping up the projects in different parts, maybe taking some on EPC basis by the developer and giving some on BOT, where there's a certainty of traffic, then there is an interest in BOT. When there is uncertainty, for example, in the Trans-Harbour Link, whether the Navi Mumbai airport will come up on time or not, that's an uncertainty into the road project or the bridge project. So how do you make sure that this is separated?
Infrastructure drives property demand, but delay in infrastructure projects and approval of housing projects has had a spillover effect on real estate development in the city.
I think the number of projects which were approved were far too few and needed to be much more. So if you take township project, for instance, we could have approved 500. I think about 5 to 7 projects were approved. So I think the numbers game is really an issue. If you don't have volumes of production in terms of townships and other things, you're not going to get a lot of affordable housing to be done or mass housing to be created.
While delay in approvals have been strangling developers, it will be unfair to overlook the Chief Minister's recent initiatives to fortify the housing space. Maharashtra is the first state to get its own housing regulator. This will not just curb corruption in the sector, but also allowing leading home buyers a platform to reach out to. Besides, Chavan recently announced the implementation of cluster policy in Mumbai's island city, opening close to about 1,000 to 1,500 land parcels for development.
Our own manifesto talks about 100 new urban clusters. I think Mumbai and Maharashtra will benefit most out of the central government initiative. But there are new ideas on the slum redevelopment, merging, integrating the Rajiv Awas Yojana concepts with the slum rehabilitation that we have in Maharashtra. And of course, projects like Coastal Road and projects like the Trans-Harbour Link, the Navi Mumbai Airport. These are the top 3 projects that will finish from Mumbai.
Whether the recent measures by the state government and agencies will ease financing and reduce execution delays is clearly going to be watched out with hawk's eye by the industry. And this will also be a key on who takes the Chief Minister's cap home on the election battlefield this time around. In Mumbai, Manasvi Gilani.
That was the first story in our special series on the upcoming state elections. We'll be back with more next week. And in the run-up to the October 15th state polls, the BJP-led central government said it wants to replicate New York's Times Square in our very own Mumbai. Times Square, very often referred to as the crossroads of the world and the center of the universe. Times Square is almost like an entertainment factory with its bright lights, giant electronic billboards, razzle and dazzle, and of course, it's also the home of Broadway. One of the most famous hotspots in the world, Times Square attracts nearly 40 million tourists every year. And now, India's tourism minister wants to mirror Times Square's magic in Mumbai. Is that even possible? Shripad Naik, the Minister of State with independent charge for tourism, has announced his ministry will sanction 5 crore rupees for the first phase. This, the ministry says, is over and above what the Maharashtra government would spend in creating the basic infrastructure to attract investments from the private sector. Kala Ghoda in South Bombay is being seen as the location best suited to create India's Times Square. The tourism minister, in a detailed press release, has outlined what all India's Times Square should have. A 15-foot high flag of India lit up for photo opportunities, just like the US flag at Times Square. Large electronic billboards to attract advertisements from corporates. Pedestrian areas paved with stone slabs and not cobblestone. High steps and benches for visitors who, while sitting, will be filmed by CCTV cameras and projected on gigantic screens. Drinking water fountains with reverse osmosis. And just like in Times Square, life-size movie and cartoon characters, but preferably of Indian origin, to walk around for photo opportunities. The press release even goes on to add, tipping these characters would be voluntary. It's certainly not going to be easy to replicate the world's most famous square, that too with just an initial investment of 5 crore rupees, but builders and architects say they're enthused by the opportunities this plan could bring. On that note, we're going to slip into a short break. On the other side, the Consumer Court and Supreme Court give more teeth to all buyers battling builders for not fulfilling promises made on maintenance and other services. 70% of the maintenance fee collected over the last 11 years has to be refunded by Ambience to residents of a Gurgaon project.